Yo, growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
You're listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network, a show that's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He's a big fan of The Last of Us, and he's never even played the video game before. Pat Flynn.
Hey, it's Pat here, and happy Friday. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. Matt, the CEO of SPI Media, my great friend and partner, were featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, and not just on their website, in an actual print version. Here, listen. Those are the pages turning, just to prove it. Although I could have just flipped through anything and you would have had to believe me. But here's what I'm going to do. In the January to February 2023 edition of Entrepreneur Magazine, we are featured in an article called Do Not Agree to Disagree. You've all heard that phrase, right? Oh, let's just agree to disagree. No. This is actually coming from Matt. It's something that he's implemented within the team. And I just wanted to read this for you, sort of like a little ebook or audiobook, but instead it's an e-magazine. It's an audio magazine article. Anyway, shout out to Jason Pfeiffer, who's over at Entrepreneur. He's the editor-in-chief at Entrepreneur Magazine, and he wrote this article up after we had an interview on his podcast, which was really cool. And there's a nice little picture of Matt towering over me. He's much taller than I am. Actually, he may have been... Wait, is he? He's like bending his knees a little to get down to my level. Matt, you don't have to do that. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. So I'm going to read the article for you, and we'll talk a little bit about it at the end. It's just one page here. Do not agree to disagree. That's just called avoiding the issue. There's a better way to handle disagreements. And for the guys behind Smart Passive Income, it became their guiding principle, by Jason Pfeiffer. When Pat Flynn disagreed, this is weird that it's like third person because obviously I'm Pat Flynn. But anyway, I'm going to read it just as is. When Pat Flynn disagreed with people, he knew what to do. Agree to disagree and move on. Isn't that how civilized people act, he thought? Value productivity over endless fighting? But back then, Flynn was a solopreneur running his company Smart Passive Income. Eventually, it grew beyond his abilities, so he talked with frequent collaborator Matt Gartland about forming a new company. Gartland came with a lot more partnership experience. He'd been a founder 6 other times, so he had seen what worked and what didn't. That's why when Flynn and Gartland eventually disagreed on something, Gartland wouldn't let Flynn simply move on. They cannot agree to disagree, he said. They must instead disagree and commit. That creates a healthy relationship, Gartland says. It was revolutionary to me, Flynn says. The phrase disagree and commit has been around since the 1980s. It was more recently popularized by Jeff Bezos. In short, it means be free to disagree with someone as a decision is being made, but once the decision is made, everyone must commit to executing it. As Gartland puts it, I will state my disagreement, and I need the safety to do that, but I support your authority to make this decision, and I am committed to your success. Why is this better? Because when done right, it fosters honesty and creates space for new ideas. Also, Gartland says, nobody ever truly agrees to disagree. They just secretly root for the other person to fail so they can say, I told you so. You have to play for high stakes, Gartland says, and recognize what's really at risk. Disagreements aren't about any individual decision. They're about relationships and livelihoods. He thinks about his relationship with Flynn, the responsibility they have for their 9 employees, and the services they offer their customers. If we screw this up and experience founder fallout, then this just goes kaboom, he says. You don't gamble with that stuff. For example, Flynn was once skeptical of email newsletters. He thought they were fine for marketing purposes, but nothing else. I'm the face of the company. I'm closest to our audience, and I know that most of them don't wake up in the morning and look forward to reading a newsletter. Flynn remembers telling their team. But Gartland and everyone else disagreed. They saw the resurgence of email newsletters coming and thought Flynn should write one. Had they simply agreed to disagree, Flynn would have refused to write a newsletter. The team would have believed it was a mistake, and that would be that. But instead, Flynn remained open to the discussion, and the team felt empowered to keep pushing. Eventually, they reframed the issue as a design thinking challenge. How might you create a newsletter that your audience would actually want to open as soon as it came into their inbox? The team asked Flynn. He liked this challenge. I knew I'd have to give it another chance in order to honor them and their disagreement, he says. To his surprise, he was proud of the results. They launched the newsletter, and it's since become one of the brand's most popular products. That is, just a side note, the Unstuck newsletter, which you could check out at smartpassiveincome.com/unstuck. Anyway, final paragraph here. That moment helped Flynn understand the power of disagreeing and committing. By focusing on the higher stakes, he reminded himself that everyone on the team had the same mission, to make great products for their audience. Knowing that the team was there and that they are also looking out for the same people I'm looking out for allowed me to see it from a different angle, he says. Then they ultimately agreed to agree. The end. So thank you to Jason Pfeiffer and also Entrepreneur Magazine for that. That was awesome. Also, make sure to check out Jason's podcast and all the other amazing podcasts on the Entrepreneur Network, which we are proudly on here at Smart Passive Income as well. But that article was really great, short and sweet and to the point, and I love this. It makes me think of agreements and disagreements in not just the work environment, but also in the home and personal environment with friends, perhaps, right? How amazing would it be to, yes, perhaps still disagree with a spouse, for example, but then commit to still help them, to serve them, to help them get the results they want without that sort of evil thinking that we have, which is like, oh, I hope this fails because I want to say I told you so, right? Like, it's such a healthier way to go about it, and a healthy way to often, especially if these are great relationships, to get that kind of love and support back, right? It's like, hey, let's trust each other kind of thing. And that newsletter example is so important because that newsletter is now accounted for several hundreds of thousands of dollars now in both advertising revenue and direct revenue for things like our All Access Pass and more. So again, smartpassiveincome.com/unstuck if you'd like to get unstuck. So I want you to think about in your life how you might use this method moving forward, right? Not agree to disagree, and perhaps even teach this lesson to your employees or to those who you work with, your colleagues, coworkers, but also your spouse and the other loved ones around you, maybe even your kids. Having your kids understand that they might disagree with you, but you still need their support, and vice versa. Again, it has to go both ways, right? That's what I love about the relationship I have with Matt. We're always open and honest with each other. We feel that, and we trust each other. So that idea of disagree but commit, we're committed to each other. We're committed to the success of, in this case, SPI. For my wife and I, we're committed to each other, but of course for the whole family, and we support each other in that way too. So, it's not like we just agree to disagree and move on, which is avoiding the situation and hoping for the other to fail. We disagree. We realize that, but we're committed to helping. That's your lesson for the day. So thank you so much again. This was the Entrepreneur Magazine January to February 2023 edition. And what page is that on, in case you ever find it like if you happen to find this at like a Barnes & Noble or something, give me a picture on Twitter. Page number 16. The back of this particular edition has the franchise 500. Which one is right for you? I was a little confused because it's sort of like a cover on both sides. One's upside down. Anyway, appreciate you. Thank you to Matt for teaching me that lesson. Thank you to my team as well. Thank you for being you. And I look forward to serving you in the next episode. Till then, peace out. Cheers. And as always, Team SPI for the win. And Team Flynn for the win. Cheers. Thank you so much for listening to the Smart Passive Income podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. Our senior producer is David Grabowski, and our executive producer is Matt Gartland. The Smart Passive Income podcast is a production of SPI Media and a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Catch you next week. Hey there, quick pause here because I have to tell you about a tool that completely transforms the podcasting workflow. Riverside. I get it. I used to juggle multiple platforms just to record one podcast episode. It was exhausting. Zoom for recording, Audacity for editing, and then a bunch of different apps just to create clips and social posts. I've tried other ones as well. They were okay, but they were clunky and super time consuming. That's where Riverside has massively helped. I can do it all in one place: recording, editing, repurposing, one platform, one streamlined flow. I just log in, record with my guests no matter where they are in the world, and just like that, studio quality audio and high resolution video all in one. And get this, even if your Wi-Fi glitches, Riverside records locally on your device so everything sounds and looks crystal clear. But here's my favorite feature: Riverside's AI editing tool. You can remove silences and filler words with just one click. Hours saved. With Magic Clips, Riverside also automatically finds the best moments and turns them into ready-to-post videos for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all without the extra editing. So if you're looking to level up your production quality and simplify your workflow, go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. It's built by creators for creators, and I think you're going to love it. Look, I get it. You want to grow your business, but trying to sell to hundreds or even thousands of people gets very exhausting very fast. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? Score App helps you sell to more people without adding more to your plate. You build a quiz or assessment that your audience actually wants to take. Then they answer a few quick questions and get a personalized result right away. It shows them where they're at and what they need to do next and how you can help. And you build huge amounts of trust before you make even a single offer. No hard sell, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. All you have to do is just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.